Hey, what's up? So this video is about coming full circle. So I've been in a process myself of living, but becoming a yoga teacher. And it's funny, I find myself sometimes going through what seems like automatic processes where it's like I'm not entirely aware, or I'm not consciously aware at all really of why I behave in the way that I do. But then when I come through the process, I can see how there was some, like, an intelligence that was essentially guiding me through the process. And it's kind of funny, because like in yoga we talk about how there's just like you're not the mind and the body and stuff like that. You're kind of just the witness. Well, there's levels of mind, right? And then so I've been in a process for about a year now. I mean, more than that, but like officially in the process of becoming a yoga teacher for about a year. And I'm inching closer and closer to be teaching classes, jumping through hoops, getting all of my ducks in a row, everything in order to be able to teach classes and become certified and whatnot. And it's a funny thing. I mean, I just go through the motions of what is required in order to get certified. But I mean, it's a big thing as well, because it's like embracing a new career. It's not, it's sort of a big deal, and specifically for myself, because I do take it quite seriously. It really feels like this is what I'm here to do, is something to do with teaching, and is in some ways not, it's not centered around yoga, but um yoga is the front face of it all. It's definitely a piece, it's a cornerstone of it all anyways. And so it's like how, because it was a challenging thing for myself, it's like, well, how do I go from being a lowly construction worker to teaching about spiritual things um, and that kind of stuff. And it's like, and I just didn't know for the longest time. And I didn't even really, this whole yoga thing, it came along, and then I started practicing more and more and more. And it was like a seed that slowly germinated and grew, and it turned into a tree. Then it turned into me. And then all of a sudden I found myself walking down this path, and then actually going to New York and getting doing my yoga teacher training, and then this and that, and jumping through hoops, and then get in the process and internship phase right now of getting certified. And then it's like getting closer and closer and closer to sort of the end goal, which is to be in a place where I can teach yoga, but also offer a lot of the other things that I would like to do, that I would like to offer. And that eventually involves having, your own studio. It involves having, a place, yeah, where you can then, yeah, deliver, I guess, your whatever you have to give, what I have to give, which is, I want a place where there could be dancing. I want a place where people can get together and hang out and meet each other. That's really community orientated, and just to be a part of something, that is useful for people, right? And yoga is a part of that. It's like, but the point is just that it's like I found myself, as I get closer and closer to this goal, I am going to be teaching at the YMCA. And it starts to become more real, because it's and I found it's just like I would be doing sometimes in life. So this is kind of what I'm getting at. It's like sometimes in life I'll have a goal in mind. I mean, so just like, how like the truth is the best, a real story. So basically what it was like leading up to this Halloween, I was I went to a Halloween party. I met another fruitarian this summer, and he had a Halloween party, him and his partner, and went there. And, at a place where at least two people are fruitarians, like it's rare. I don't have any friends that are even like vegans or anything like that. So just it was just like, oh wow, this is party, and it was in town. It's just like, I've been single for years, and it was like, I am a Cancer. I am a hopeless romantic. I accept um my my place right now in life, right? But I mean, it's hard. I can't say that I wouldn't enjoy having a partner, have like, being in love, having a partner, being supporting someone. It sounds really nice. I've been there um multiple times. It didn't work out for whatever reasons, but I mean, moving forward, certainly I know that I have matured a great deal in the last few years. And so it's just like, oh, my little heart is just like, maybe. And so leading up to that point, when I have something very important that is coming up, I walk the straight and narrow path because I want to be at my absolute best. I want my energy level to be full and balanced. I want my skin to be perfectly clear. I want to be peaceful. I want to be like in touch with my deepest recesses, so that if I do meet somebody, I can have a conversation with them that is meaningful and fulfilling. And like that's, in general, like that's how I don't chase after women. I'm not that kind of a guy, but because I know that, it's like when you meet the right person, it just happens, and it's just like, oh, who are you? Like, what are you all about? And, it becomes obvious or apparent, very quickly that it's just like that there's, sparks fly, there's chemistry there. And so I did meet somebody like this at that party, but they were, uh, they had a partner, right? And so I I don't in any way, I completely respect people who have partnerships and whatnot. I would never even like, when I'm in a situation where I am amongst friends, and it's like it becomes aware to me that there's somebody who is that there's a match, right? I mean, I put up a block, and just like I don't allow myself to have any feelings, romantic type feelings towards that person, because it's just not right. I mean, if you can't control that element of yourself, that aspect of who you are, which, you know, um, looks at a person in a certain way romantically. I mean, to me, that is not it's not where I want to be and how I want to behave. Even though like I've been in situations before. I lived in a house in Vancouver where I was in the same situation. I had the exact same philosophy, but then I was pursued by women, and I didn't have the good sense to say no, and it ended up in a fiasco. And yeah, but that was the way that cookie crumbled, and it was exactly as it needed to be. So anyway, so I went to this party, and then once it was over, there's a part of me that was like, because I didn't meet somebody, I didn't meet my significant other, yeah. And so I, for some reason, after that, and I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable talking about this now because I started talking about it openly. I decided to, because I had been walking the straight and narrow path for a while, and so after that party, I started eating some junk food again. I started hanging out with my buddies, and I started drinking some beers and smoking weed, and just kind of letting loose a little bit. And but the thing is, for myself, because I am, I don't know, like, I'll just say it, like, I've heard it said that, like, with sensitive people, it doesn't take much to throw your whole system out of whack and kind of send a person on a, yeah, on a spiraling. And so I very quickly found myself spiraling, kind of in a vicious cycle of, like, holy cow. I mean, I was still making progress. I was writing this one piece. I was writing a number of things, of getting settled back into my house and all this kind of stuff, and it's good. But I found myself on a path that is not the straight and narrow path, something that a lot of people do. I don't do things in excess, right? But for me, doing them at all is an issue because it doesn't take much for me to. It's like once I start doing something, I don't stop until it's finished. Um, it's an energy that I work with, right? I'm not saying that there's no way out of that, but it's something that I've experienced in my life. That is how I handle things a lot of the time. And so when I start down a certain path, I continue down that path until I've had enough. And I did, to the point it went up to Thanksgiving, or like after Thanksgiving, because then there was like parties there, and then there was like my buddy's anniversary party, and it just, like, anything is an excuse to essentially keep going until I've had absolutely enough. And then I did reach a point where, I was frustrated because I lose some of my spark. I lose my focus. Meditation stops happening. Yoga becomes a joke, like asana. I'm not reading anymore. I'm not writing. I mean, I just lose the interest in doing it. It's not that I can't, but I find that there's very little difference between I can't and I don't want to. I just don't feel like it. I would rather download a movie and watch that. I would rather, occupy myself, or, doing something, entertain myself in some other way. And so, but anyways, I took that path as far as I could, and I ate all kinds of junk food. It made my skin not healthy looking, and I was tired, lethargic, sleeping in every day. Like, that's one of the most annoying things for me when I walk the the windy road, is that I do not like sleeping in, because that is the time when I actually get things done in my life. And so when I'm sleeping in every single day, like, I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock at night because that's just my normal, sometimes earlier, and then getting up at like 7. It's like, and then my body aches because my body doesn't like lying down for long periods of time. It's just not how it works. For certain people, and I'm one of those people, I have to keep moving, or else I experience pain. And it's funny. I read an article about hypermobility, because I was trying to understand my own body and in relation to yoga and whatnot. And I remember somebody saying that about themselves, that they, the more, yeah, the less you move, the more pain you experience. So there's a balance where it's like, yeah, of course you have to sleep, but I mean, not too much. You need to get up. It's like some of us are kind of wired to keep going, to be busybodies, to be like, I don't know, to figure that out anyways. And that's how I figured it out, is like I have to keep moving. So it's like I get like super frustrated that, and like I have like lists of things that I start falling behind on absolutely everything. And so it's like my diet goes downhill, all my practices, my reading, my writing goes downhill. I'm falling behind on all the little things that I should normally be doing, but I mean, they just kind of don't happen because I'm not organized and I'm not focused. I'm not fully present in all this stuff until it reaches a point where it's like, okay, I've had absolutely enough. And I've experienced this so many times. You know, I made a video called it's about falling off the wagon. It's like the wagon, it's like it's getting you to where you need to go, you know, do. And then falling off is like, say you relapse, you start, you know, you maybe had a drink and then you fall off the wagon, right? And so like I think jokingly in that video I said it's like I've made a career out of falling off the wagon because I've done it so many times. But it's like, it's not about how many times you fall off the wagon. It's just a matter of, do you get back on? And you know, can you recognize when you've had enough? And how long can you stay on the wagon? You know, is it just a repeating cycle, or are you like spending more time on the wagon, or are you spending more time falling off? And I myself am spending more time on the wagon. And so, and getting better at riding that road. You know, it's not like it's bumpy, but when you're, you know, when you're paying attention, you're not falling off the wagon all the time. And so I've been back on the straight and narrow path for about a week now, and of course in a very short time have cleaned up you know, a lot of all little things that I needed to do, this and that, you know, because I utilize my time effectively. I mean, like yesterday I changed the tires on my car. I did all this running around. I mean, I take care of things. I reorganize my room and make sure that I'm efficient. You know, I'm back on, you know, moving towards a raw food diet. I got my dehydrator here. I got my blender. I got everything like, yeah, so like really getting everything in order and stuff like that, which is good. Um, and been writing some really interesting pieces that I might make YouTube videos about. But anyways, it's just kind of interesting, you know, and then reflecting back on it all. And it's like I get this feeling that the reason why I essentially initiate a downfall, because it's like, you know, sometimes it's funny how you can see yourself going through the motions where it's like it's like, you know, nothing, there was nothing outside of me which encouraged me in any way to fall off the wagon. I did it 100% by myself. Yet, you know, when I reflect on it, it's like I can tell, it's like I can see myself, at times I can see myself going through the steps, and it's like I know what's going to happen as a result of what I do. Like if I go and hang out with certain people or whatever, then there is a certain, you know, people that you hang out and you party with. I mean, well, I mean, you don't have to party with them, but if you go and specifically hang out with those people and you know in the back of your mind that you are going to partake in the festivities, I mean, you know, it's weird having that, you know, that kind of I don't know, making those kinds of choices, right? But so then now on the other side of it, you know, the way I've been looking at it, and is sort of the point of this video, is that it has to do with, because of this thing of walking the straight and narrow path and having walking the straight and narrow path and and maintaining it and having something important in life. I always say that the way out of addiction is to have something that is better, something that you are more addicted to, so that when it comes down to it, it's easy to let go of something that is getting in the way of something that you're enjoying more. You have to have something that you like more, that is more addictive, that gives you a reason to choose better, essentially, right? And so for myself, becoming a yoga teacher, it is that, because it really feels like what I'm here to do. I've been listening to this book, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali by Edwin F. Bryant, and it is amazing. I mean, I'd say it's probably over most people's heads, because it's some deep stuff. It's yeah, but it's amazing. And they talk about how, like, for a yogi, like, say, like, very little things are a big deal, you know and, like, say, how it's like a hair in your eye. It's very small, but the eye is very sensitive, and so it's a big deal. And it's like that for a yogi. For some people, for a lot of people, something very small, it is insignificant, it doesn't matter at all. But for a person who is a yogi, it's it is it's a big deal. And this has been my experience with my body, with what my body will and will not allow me to put inside of it. I mean, without consequences, right? I made a video about listen to your body. It's called Listen to Your Body, about everything that my body told me that I was doing wrong. And yeah, and I've just come to kind of realize, it's like, wow, I feel like I don't like labels and titles and stuff like that, but I really, when somebody starts describing about what it is to be a yogi, and certainly being a sensitive person, it's like, wow, I feel like I've always been a yogi. It's like, wow, I'm really made for this path. I am here to to walk this path, to be a teacher of yoga and of spiritual things. I mean, it's just it's what life is. It's why I'm here. And so I think, because it's like, in coming to recognize stuff like that, and, like, it's like, wow, this is really, it's all kind of coming full circle. And then it was maybe what the title of this video is going to be. It's just like, okay, wow, this is a big deal, becoming a yoga teacher. Because, like I said, like, if I feel like there's something important for me, I will walk the straight and narrow path. And sometimes, like, say, if I think that I'm going to finish writing my book, I will do it for a long period of time. I can be teetotally sober for 6 months, a year. It doesn't matter, because I'm focused. Because it's like, wow, my life is going to change when I publish my book. It's just like, because, yeah, it's a business and whatnot, and I won't have to work in the same way anymore. I'll have, like, a thing that I can earn money at, and then pursue my other endeavors, right? But then go into a party where it's like, oh, I could meet the love of my life, and that just sounds so nice. But the other thing is, like, so now I have this thing coming up, which is a career, which is yoga. And it's like, it's different than sitting in front of a camera in my bedroom making YouTube videos. I mean, like, this, like I said, or I don't know if I said it, but, like, like, none of my family members watch my videos. Most of my friends don't know I have a YouTube video, and I think I might have one or two friends that watch my videos. I mean, so thanks, guys. I mean, I guess, but yeah, But anyways, the point is just that, like, this stuff is very, like, I'm just talking right now. It's kind of like journaling. I wanted to get this off my chest, because I think about it, and I make videos of my journey. So I don't know who watches my videos, but this is just another piece of my journey. Um, yeah, and I like to not just keep it all to myself, and it's like I kind of realize that, and because I'm talking about things that are human, right? It's human to go to spiral, to fall off a wagon, to experience addiction, to for everything to fall apart, for to being, figuring things out, to go through a process, and then to like come out of it and whatnot, right? So I guess those are the reasons why I make these videos too, because they're very human, and what I was just saying is that, like, when I think about, it's like when I start teaching yoga, it's on, like, because you certainly, when I start teaching at the YMCA, I am in a schedule. I will have a few classes a week. And so, like, this is still just the internship phase. You have to teach 24 classes for free. And so volunteering at the YMCA fits in very perfectly with that. But so it's like, once I start doing that, there is no room for taking the side path anymore. And so it's like my life will change a great deal once I start teaching not on YouTube but in public, where there are people, because the style of yoga that I teach and whatnot, it's not just asana, it is a part of, it's Raja Yoga, and so there is spiritual discourse and as a part of the yoga class. It's very much a part of it. And so, and having to be out there in public, they in the group fitness instructor course that I took at the YMCA, they teach you, like, you are, I don't know how to say it, like, on camera, like all eyes are on you from just always, from like once you start being in the public arena like that, because certainly when you get to the gym, when you pull into the parking lot, people are going to know what your car looks like. They're going to see you when you get out of your car. You have to put on you have your best face on all of the time. You have to, when you have to be friendly, you have to be cordial, you have to be nice, you have to be mature all of the time, right? Because you're a part of something. You are the face. I'll be the face of a number of organizations at that point, because I belong to 2 yoga schools, as well as the YMCA, as well as myself, as a human being who is an example of somebody who has reached a level of maturity. And so, and then for the class, and also, never mind that, like, when you're out shopping and stuff like that, people are going to recognize you. All of a sudden you're going to have, 20, 30 people coming to see you a few times a week, and you're going to become known, and you're going to have to put yourself out there eventually, like, what do you call it, uh like marketing yourself in the community and whatnot. So you're going to become very well known, and through other ways as well, right? People are going to know who you are, what you're about, and you have to be very, if you don't want to tarnish your reputation, if you don't, if you want to be somebody who is a respectable member of the community, and certainly to do with, like, the field that I'm entering into, like a sort of a leader. I have that quality about me, and so it's a huge responsibility. And so I think that the reason why I subconsciously chose to walk the not the to fall off the wagon is because I recognized on a level subconsciously that my life is going to change in a big way once I start down this path, and so I guess it was almost like wanting to say goodbye to my old life, because we've been together for a long time. um being, I mean, like, the part of me which is able to just do whatever I want. Like right now, I'm a single man. I can do whatever I want. I have no kids. I can spend my money on synthesizers. I did just buy a new synthesizer. Oh my god. Yeah. and, and there's and there's nothing irresponsible about that. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know why I find it so funny. I think it's just because I'm aware of the sonic capability of this thing. It's called a Moog Muse. So this is a polyphonic. So like every key analog synthesizer is the one I've been waiting for my whole life, and I hummed and hawed a little bit about it, and then I just pulled the trigger, and it was worth more than my car, but I guess I just don't care because my car works, and yeah, this synthesizer, it just, I don't have it yet. I they get handmade down in the States, but yeah, it's super fun. But anyways, like, as far as being irresponsible in other ways, you can still have a beer here and there, but everything has to be done far more responsibly. Yeah, it's not, because like if you have classes coming up, you can't show up to class hungover or tired, or not an example of somebody who is very focused and mindful and aware and spiritual, for what it's worth, because that's what people are going to come to expect from me, I figure. Of course, you have your human side, right? But it kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, it's part of the training. They say, like, don't um yeah, they say, like, don't let people see your faults, because whether you like it or not, people will look up to you. And it's not that you're not human, but you need to kind of maintain a certain status about you, not as somebody who's infallible or perfect or whatever, but sometimes it is important to have an ideal, something to strive towards, an example of something. It's just like having a role model. Like, I've had role models in my life, and it's like it's nice to like look up to that and be like, oh wow, okay, without being like, okay, without downplaying that, right? And if that's, yeah, that's what you want to do, that's fine, right? But, and so, yeah, and I guess, yeah, I guess that's it. I just this is it's just a funny time in life, where I get to say goodbye to my old life and hello to a new one. And it's certainly been funny, living in a room now. My room now is twice the size of my old room. I have way more things in here. I have all my stuff. I mean, I do have a storage container in a van at my buddy's house, but I have so many things here. And I tell you, this last stint of living in my car, it's so humbling. Like, I don't recommend it to anybody. It was so challenging, but it was also very transformational. I heard in my sensitivity course, the girl Asia Suler is her name, and she talked about there's a book about that some guy wrote, and it's about what do you call it? Like, in times of hardship, there are what they describe as butterfly moments, which are moments of transformation that transpire, which, like, like, so, like, when you're going through something that's really hard, and then something just clicks and it's like, okay. And I've experienced this many times. I mean, I'm sure I've made videos about them when it's like I've just kind of realized it's like, aha, right, okay. And then it's time to move forward. But it's like it took kind of that moment. It takes those moments of clarity. I don't know if they're epiphanies, but like little times of, yeah, of figuring that kind of stuff out. And it's like something that I've come to really realize in this, like in my last living situation. I find it's like I would get like, I was like, oh, well, I deserve better than this. Like I wish I could have my stuff on the counter and this and that. It's like, oh, I want my own place and I want this and I want that. And I started getting like kind of, I don't know what the word is, if it's prissy or like, it's the, I don't know, starting to behave like an entitled person, or like, I don't know, it's sort of childish. I'm not sure what the exact word is, but it's like, I want this, I want that, this isn't fair, and blah 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 blah, complaining and like, like, yeah, I deserve better. And it's like, there's some truth to that. But then after my last bit of living in the car, so I lived in my car for a year, and then I lived in a house for about 9 months, and then in the car for about 3 months, and then all of a sudden you don't have any of that stuff. There is no water filter, there is no blender, and everything just kind of, everything slid. I was on a path with my diet with this raw food stuff, and then it just all goes out the window, living in your car, because it's not that you can't do it, but it's way more challenging without a blender, without a dehydrator, without a kettle so I can make some tea, without like all of my food stuff. There was just like, I ended up eating it a different way and just kind of fell away. And then I had to, like, once I got back into this house, I had to like slowly be like, holy cow, like I was on a path and I was doing really well. And then it just all fell apart. And then it's like, okay, it's time to come back to what you were doing, get back to all of your practices, get back to the raw food. I mean, predominantly raw food, right? And yeah, just keep going. It's like you got derailed there for a bit, but it was like a process that I had to go through to kind of find myself and find my new way and find my new digs and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, and get settled. And I just, now that I'm in this house right now and I'm doing this kind of stuff, I've come to kind of, I just kind of come to realize that it's just like, I find myself way more humble, because like when you live in a car and you just have next to nothing, it's, you can do it, but it's challenging. So then now here it's like, I still have to make do within where I'm at, but it's like, there's none of that like sort of entitledness to it, where it's like I'm just happy that I have a water filter and a blender. I'm happy that I have salt lamps. I'm happy that I have my printer. I have a heater. I have my yoga mat. I'm happy that I can meditate every day in my room on the floor, because like in the car it's so hard to do. And of course you can't practice yoga in your car, not really anyways. And so yeah, and it took two bouts of living in a vehicle to reach a place where it's like, yeah, okay, I'm humble. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to be back anyways. And so I don't know, I just thought I would make this video to get these things off my chest, because it kind of, yeah, I guess I document the things that I go through, and it helps me, because if it gets off my chest, then it's off of my mind, and then I can focus on other things, because I don't feel like I need to do this, because otherwise I do. I don't know why I feel silly making videos, I guess. but I do sometimes. So yeah, and that's it. Yeah. See you in the next one, as some people say.